Oh, what's up, my peers? But guys, I have a couple of pieces of good news and one piece of bad news. Now obviously let's start off with the good news first, right? You know, I think it's kind of lame, you know, when you order a tool for a project, but then it takes forever for the tool to arrive and you almost finish the project with other tools. Well, not quite there yet, but pretty close. Look guys, bunch of paper and cardboard. It's actually going missing right now. We can discard the rest. But yeah, I ordered this little cutting unit up, hoping to use it for this project as well, but we're definitely gonna use it during this video, because I do have some plate that I need to, you know, cut. So maybe this will be a very good addition to the fleet. I definitely can't compare it to the standard cut-off disc though, right? I mean, for starters, this guy doesn't produce those annoying fumes and also sparks. In the last video I also bought some type of a special cut-off disc. I was just kind of curious to check out how the thing works, and honestly, it's just garbage. It's so slow, bro. You can't really cut anything thicker with it. I'm guessing if you work with sheet metal all day, every day, then it's fine. But if you try to cut something thicker, it's just gonna take forever. I mean, we can do like a quick cut test here, I suppose. Safety shoes on. Okay, so that took about 15 something seconds. Now, I won't be able to cut through that with this guy because it's gonna take forever. But let's just do like 15 seconds. Okay, I went about 20 there. Kind of count, sorry. But that's about it. Let's try the cut-off disc. 15 seconds. Huh. I don't fancy that. This thing is actually pretty fast when you compare it to the other junk. Although I would love to have like a corded version of this guy. That would be so good. Well, to be honest, I do have one, but it's kind of table mounted. What do you think, guys? 15 seconds versus forever versus, you know, a minute maybe? I would say maybe like 9 or 8. And it would be so cool if I had a corded version of this guy, but in handheld form, right? And actually, I kind of found out about that type of tool when I was watching Andrew's videos when he was cutting steel plate in order to build a bucket for his Yanmar, I believe. I mean, this guy has so many excavators, I kind of lost track at some point, but I kind of find out about that tool when I was watching his videos, and I really wanted to get one, but at the time we did not have any of that nonsense in Estonia. However, now we do. However, I guess the supply or models are still kind of limited. We only currently have the Milwaukee version, which is corded, and that thing costs about $1,000. Maybe you can get it a bit cheaper, but it's price is currently around there. But you know, for some reason at the same time there's like a lot of different metal cutting saws like that, but they're all battery operated from different vendors. I don't think like a battery operated metal cutting saw is a good idea, considering you need like a lot of torque or power in order to cut steel, right? The RPMs don't need to be high, but you need torque, right? And I think the battery form factors just won't deliver that. It might, but it's just gonna overheat the stupid battery and then it's gonna glitch out. Need to have like a corded version of for that tool, I would say. Now, if you're curious about pricing as well, then I paid about $270 for that thing. Now, to my knowledge, the Makita has 3 different versions of the metal cutting tool. This is the middle version. There's even a weaker version than that. I'm so glad I did not buy that because this is already pretty slow. But you know, this is the middle version. Then there's also a higher version, which was around 500 euros. Maybe should have bought that. Then again, if I could have tripled this guy, I would have got the proper tool, right? So maybe sometimes it's worth getting the proper tool. Which is, by the way, not that piece of crap. Because this stupid ass disc cost 71 euros. Like, I mean, which one you would rather have? That or 4 of those? The choice is obvious, right? I mean, rather have that 10 times over. This thing is just so hopeless. I mean, we can try. Oh, we already tried. Yeah. Sorry, guys. We haven't tried to cut sheet metal with that guy, though. Maybe that's good. Although, on the disc itself, you can see like a bunch of huge ass I-beams. I don't see cutting through that giant I-beam with this thing. I mean, you're gonna die of old age, or the battery will explode beforehand. Dude, that's just garbage. Betting this guy will go through it much faster. It's like cutting plywood, bro. Why the hell is this thing so expensive? It's useless. Maybe this thing will last forever, then it's worth it, but other than that, it's just complete garbage. But anyway, guys, that was the good news. So we got a new tool and hopefully we'll be able to use it during this project. Let's go over to the second good news now. Shut up! Look at that. The stupid winter is melting away. Yes! Man, I've been waiting for this moment forever. I'm so glad it's finally happening again. This is by far the best time of the year. We can soon start swimming around in mud again. Wow. You can wait for that bit. Oh man, look at this mess. Guess we have drainage problems over here. Water has nowhere to go. Whatever. But yeah, winter is ending and I'm so glad that it's doing that. And by far my favorite time of the year is the spring, when everything starts to wake up. You know, a bunch of sunshine, birds singing, that sort of nonsense. That's by far the best time of year. But luckily we're not quite there yet. We're currently in the middle phase somewhere, where all the nonsense is melting away and all the cool stuff will happen afterwards. So I'm really glad I still have that project to finish up inside the workshop, but I definitely want to get it out of the workshop before all of this disappears and you know, it's replaced by a bunch of that sunshine and also birds singing. Now last year I sadly kind of missed a lot of that because I was inside the stupid cave welding a bunch of nonsense together. And at the same time, outside, it was perfect weather to be outside. I really hated that. I didn't want to stay inside at all, but I still had some type of a project that I needed to finish. If I'm not mistaken, it was the shear ram build. This time it's a bit bigger than a shear ram, but you know, technically the same picture, right? Soon we're gonna have very nice weather outside, and I don't wanna be here anymore. I wanna be out there instead. I'm sure you guys would agree. So we better finish this guy up as fast as possible. I'm gonna try to wrap it up during this video. If it gets a bit long, then sorry guys, but hopefully we'll get this guy out of the workshop by the end of the video. And also, instead of that white nonsense, we're gonna have a lot nicer weather as well. But anyway, that was the good news. A new tool, and that the winter is ending. Let's deal with the bad news now. Well, the bad news is pretty simple. I did a little boo-boo in the last video. Now, some of you even mentioned this in the comment section, so maybe you already know what I'm talking about, but well, to be honest, I don't think it was more like a boo-boo. I just kind of forgot. I wanted to do it, but I just kind of forgot. Basically, I forgot to install the bushings inside the thick wall pipe, which I welded inside the arm part. And right now it's just kind of riding steel on steel. Now, what I should have done was pretty simple, to be honest. You know, the same pipe which I installed inside the thing, I should have gotten a little chunk out of it and then put it inside the lathe, because I needed to trim the inside diameter down just a little bit. And then I could have taken one of the original bushings from the old frame. And install that thing inside there. Normally it won't go because it's a bit bigger than it needs to be, but I could have trimmed that down on the lathe, installed the bushing on both ends, and that would have been that. I just kind of forgot. But you know, maybe it's fine, you know. Doing it right now, it's definitely too much work, I would say. You know, obviously I can't turn that part on the lathe anymore, and I would probably need to like oxy torch that setup out of there, then do a new pipe, fit the bushings inside, and put it back. Also weld it shut, but I could only weld it on the outside. Right now it's also welded on the inside, so I think that's a bit better than just welding it from the outside. And I just kind of forgot, you know. But you know, maybe this is fine, like I said. Now, considering how many hours I'm actually planning to use this guy, I think even steel, riding on steel with grease in between is gonna last for a really long time for me. I mean, let's keep in mind the main reason I actually built this grappler, and that was for the, whenever I start cleaning up the other forest plot, I wanted to use this grappler to go pick up pre-made brush piles, so I could just kind of grab a huge pile in a single go, drive next to the road, dump it on the roadside, and then go back, pick another pile, and just kind of transport piles like that. That's technically the main reason I actually built this, I am building this grappler bucket right now. I guess we can also carry logs with it, and in the meantime ram through concrete walls, but the main reason was always picking brush with this thing. My current setup for transporting brush material is the tractor and the log trailer. Now, I could also log the brush on the trailer with the boom, but that takes forever, so I usually involve the bobcat with its grappler bucket because that's 10 times faster. And you know, once the trailer gets full, I just kind of drive over here and unload it with the cladding on the trailer itself. And it takes a bit more time than loading it, but still much faster than driving the Bobcat over here and then back. It's constant. But you know, with the big Grappler bucket all around this little forest, I want to make these giant piles, and I can just kind of go there, grab the entire pile, drive here, unload, go back. Now, I don't even need to get out of the loader, right? I just kind of drive around, moving material from A to B. That's way faster than with my other setup, right? But you know, other than that, I don't think I'm really gonna use that giant grappler for transporting logs around, I guess. We could definitely try, but I don't see myself using it for that purpose. Mainly, I just kind of wanted it for brush. I know it's kind of overkill, or it's very overkill, but whatever. It's fine, man. It's the world's most sturdiest brush grappler, right? Maybe we can even use it for logs. But anyway, now that we got all the good news out of the way and also the bad news, I think let's just kind of get to work. Like I said, we have a plan and we need to stick to it. We need to get this guy out of the workshop by the end of the movie. Luckily, there's really not a lot to do.
Me saying that while fully knowing that I'm screwed and it's gonna take at least 10 hours to achieve. But
basically, we just need to build that little piece that will go down. We need to add something on the bottom as well. Then we need to adjust the quick attach so it will fit the Volvo. And luckily the hydraulics are already there. We just need to remove the center cylinder and cap these lines off. Then we need to clean the thing, and I also want to put some paint on it before we try to somehow get it out of the workshop. So that's about it. Grappler, quick attach, hydraulics, cleaning job, and paint job. Let's get to work. About the design as well. I made up my mind finally. I'm gonna go with a single claw design rather than two. And all in all, I think I'm gonna save a little bit of weight with the single claw design actually. If I wanna do a double claw setup, then I'm guessing I probably need to continue the double wall, right? All the way down there. But with a single claw, I could just add the steel plate on this side and the steel plate on that side, join them together in the center with some box tubing, and the same claw going downwards, but I wouldn't need to do a double wall there. Single wall would work as well. So I'm already saving some space there, I think. But you know, to put it down on paper for you, it's gonna be a pretty simple, I would say. So let's imagine these two bars are the bone bars currently. And from there I need to add a little plate there, same on the other side. Then from that point we're going to have that claw going downwards, and I guess we can add like a secondary plate there as reinforcement. And finally we can add some box tubes, maybe like a couple of them in the center. Oh, I also need to build some type of wall where the grappler can ram against. So actually maybe I'm not even saving any weight. Maybe it's even gonna be heavier that way. Whatever, that's actually good. Kind of a heavy piece. Maybe we can actually, I got it here with the new tool. And that's showing 1 bar, but I'm pretty sure I had 3. clearly not empty. But dude, still much better than trying to lift this guy on the table and cutting it there, definitely. However, I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and buy the Milwaukee thing. I'm gonna think it over. Maybe I'm gonna do it. I mean, that would definitely help my gas. Most likely I'm gonna spot weld everything here and then later just weld everything together if I don't need to change anything. Midagi väga paksuks läheb ära sul see asi siin. 10 senti siin on ja saad ühe jupi veel niimoodi. Ja siis hakkad nagu järjest alla minema, aga siia on ja, aga siis ta peaks juba väikse kallakuga olema. Ja siis järjest niimoodi läheb. Well, that's a lot of chips from just 2 cuts. But honestly, I'm kind of enjoying this right now. Wish it was a bit more powerful though. Väikse kaldega ka muidugi. Ta lähebki nagu. Või siis paned niimoodi. Lähed otse ja lõpus keerad alla. Ma ei tea, kas tuua teda otse või nihutada ikka natukene sinna poole. See teine jupp, mis siit tuleb, see läheb ühendab teda kuhugi siia. Well, this piece of dirt didn't last for very long. It's not cutting anymore. After 3 cuts. After 3 cuts and 3 batteries, mind you. Yeah, I went through 3 batteries already. It's producing so much spark. Usually that means the carbide teeth are already gone. Well, not gone, they are dull. They're not cutting efficiently. This is a colossal disappointment. This thing is just hopeless. Everything's heating up, you know, the handle is very warm right now. I'm not sure what the motor is doing. Battery is warm to the touch. Yeah, something has definitely happened to the blade. It was cutting a lot faster before. Which is kind of odd, because the other blade has lasted forever. I haven't even replaced that blade out during the course of this project so far. And I'm pretty sure I also did the firewood line built with the same blade actually. So they do last for a really long time. I'm not sure what's going on over here. Why is this so dull now? I've only done 3 cuts, bro. Okay, 4 if we include the test cut, but that's definitely too few for this to go bad so soon. I mean, the concept is fantastic. I love the idea. It's just having like a circular saw that goes to cut angles on a steel like that. Because I can't cut angles on the table saw. No sir, I would need to use the cut-off disc. It's not doing anything anymore. Maybe it's the steel, but dude, that's mild steel. That should be 355. It's a bit stronger than the other guy, but still mild. And this is 235, 100%. If it can't cut this as well, then it's screwed. Okay, I can't be bothered. Already a minute and it's still not through. Before it went through this piece in 15 seconds. Now it can't even do it in a minute. Unbelievable. How did this thing go bad so fast? I only did 3 cuts, bro. Maybe it's not meant for steel. A carbide tipped plate for ferrous metals. That's the thing, but yeah, look at that. That teeth is just completely chipped off. That has a chip missing. That one has a chip missing. Wow. Dude, wow. Now, unless I'm missing something here, because I did not read the manual, you know, I just kind of drew that immediately away, like I always do. But unless I'm missing something, dude, this thing is just carbide. This carbide blade lasted less than a €1 cut-off disc. Literally, bro. I could have done more cuts with that thing. By far. What do you guys think? Guess we gotta do it the old-fashioned way. Bunch of smoke. The big Makita, guys. My lord and savior. One thing's for sure. And if this project kind of fails, then this is gonna be a very good camera mount. Or the base for it, right? Because it's metal. And the camera holder is magnetic. But, you know, honestly, I think it's progressing pretty well so far. I kind of figured maybe I should do some type of a plywood like shape already and try to figure the angle of attack out that way, but you know, going at it like this also works, I guess. It's gonna be a lot of welding later once everything's set in place, but it doesn't really matter. It has to go over the lip though, because just imagine if I have a log on this spot and I want to push that log there, then this part actually has to come a bit more down, I think. Maybe I need to adjust the angle slightly. Right now I don't think so. That's gonna go vertical basically, and the next one is right over there. It should actually work, maybe. I know. Who even knows such things? Certainly not this guy. You know, I always do that. Whenever the big disc falls down, I just kind of swap it over to the small grinder. And then you have like a brand new disc on the small grinder. It's a good way to use everything up nicely, right? Maybe we can bend this guy slightly higher. And if it falls down, then it falls down. Then we have to start over. Then we can redo the angles. But if not, then maybe. Just in case though, I'm gonna put the Soviet chair down there. Tõepoolest ma tahaks seda kuhugi siia vaata kukub ära. Sest on kaugem ei oleks väga mõtet teda viia. Kas ta on suunaga siia või? Tegelikult on küll jah. Üks keeramine veel ja ongi suunaga sinna vaata. Yeah, I would say that's actually pretty good. Got like a pretty decent turn, I would say. I think I'm missing one more piece, but before we figure that out, I think we should add the center part now, where the entire thing will ram against once it's like fully closed. For that, I could use just like a simple box tube, I guess, but I was hoping that maybe I can use that final leftover, which was from the original attachment. So I got my new bottle of oxygen a couple of days ago. Now let's go cut that thing up and try to fit it between the two legs. Oh, look at that. Hans Pants is back in action. Kuradi libe. most likely not gonna be the one part. Oh man. Freaking ice! Traction numero uno. Man, I hate this time of the year. It's the worst.
It doesn't want to got that thicker blade. Maybe this tip is not meant for. I think that's like 30 mil, something like that. And usually there's like a number on the dip somewhere, how much it will be able to cut, or what the range is. I don't see anything though.
I kind of looked around. I was pretty sure I had different tips for the cutting torch, so I could cut different thicknesses, but I can't find them anymore. Ever since I did that stupid cleanup job during the summertime, I can't find anything.
Yeah, I think it was not the right tip for that thickness. So most likely went through that pretty easily, but immediately stopped once I hit that.
Man, that has to be the fastest disc ever that's disappeared on me. About a meter of cutting, completely gone. Wow.
Now, I may be mistaken, but I think that part is hard duck steel. Although it's bent up so badly, I don't think I'm just gonna scrap it. Currently the thing is too wide. I need to got it 180. I think it's better if I got it on both sides rather than one. Because I do have like a little reinforcement piece in the center there, and I could use that to my advantage. Okay. Looks like I just need to cut along the weld line on both sides, and I should get my 180. Hold that, will you? Fire in the hole. Oh, it actually, actually bent that. Look at that. I guess that wall's not that thick. Wow. Hey, maybe we can't use this to run through concrete walls. Oh, mean. Türa, inimene mõõdab 181, lõikab 180 ja on ikka pikk. Kuidas see võimalik on, ma ei saa aru. Mis kuradi valemitega sa arutad? Mis ta 182 on, ma ei saa aru. Täitsa vend, noh. Mine hüppa ahju, raisk.
about 10 millimeters. That end needs to go that way. No, it's 20 millimeters. Wow. What? kuradi 5 milli veel saame. Oh, täpselt. Honestly, kind of amazing. I mean, the part actually fits here pretty good, right? It's like meant for that spot, honestly. The way it's shaped and all, I mean. You know, to be honest, technically it would kind of make more sense if you flip it around the other way, because the other side is definitely stronger than this side. However, I think it would look kind of weird if it's the other way around. So maybe this is fine. I just need to do some type of a clever connection point for the claw and the bottom part. But you know, overall, I'm kind of glad. And considering the attachment which we bought at the start of the project, I've gotten to use up most of the parts from that previous build, right? The leftovers, yeah. And I don't think I'm gonna use these. This is scrap most likely, but I'm gonna keep this plate. Might actually need it one day. You know how it goes with steel. Might need it one day. Stupid cylinder wants to go down on its own, but yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Seems kind of big, maybe. Well, we can always go buy a bigger loader, right? No, there's an idea. But anyway, later, once I figure out everything, then I'm gonna probably cut a lot of this material off, you know. It's not gonna remain like that. It's gonna be as thick as it is there, but as it goes lower, it needs to get less thick, and eventually it's just gonna be about this much, I think. So before I can do the next step, I need to do the other side as well, and then I can figure out how I'm gonna make the bottom connection. So give me a couple of seconds. I'm gonna do the other side as well. It should be pretty straightforward. I just need to copy that and paste it here without any errors. I think I just need to make the exact same length. that takes care of that bit. I think it came out pretty okay. Freaking huge though. Currently I'm thinking, dude, if I put like a giant pile of logs in the center there, no way the Volvo is gonna lift that up. I do need a bigger loader in that case. Nope. We're gonna do like a little hack, I guess. I'm gonna park Joseph on Volvo's rear end. That's gonna fix the problem. Oh, by the way, I have no idea how I'm gonna get this thing out of the workshop once it's fully finished. I don't think Bobcat can even drag it at this point. Maybe Yanmar could, you know, with the bucket, can you drag it on the ground? We could try that, I guess. But honestly, I think we're gonna end up just kind of pulling the guy out of the workplace, either with Joseph or the Volvo itself. Not really sure at the moment. And you know, honestly, I'm not really looking forward for that part. It's gonna be a mess. I'm probably gonna pull the wall down or something. Especially if I'm pulling it with Joseph, you can't really understand anything what's going behind you. But next up, we need to add more stuff. So I want to install a steel plate between the two points, and I want to do a 200mm steel plate, but I want to install that inside that steel plate. And once that's installed, I'm gonna cut this edge off, so this edge doesn't go very far out. It's gonna go like that, and then it's gonna go like that, and in the end, same way as on this side. So the contact between the grappler and that part will be only on this area. And later I'm gonna install some type of thing there as well. So if it's a hard hit, it's just gonna put the force there as well. I think that's a solid plan. So let's do that. By the way, so far I'm about halfway through of my steel order. So we can actually do some calculations for the weight. The entire steel order was about 950 kilos. Now if we're halfway through, that means about 500 kilos of steel we have added on the thing so far. And the original thing was about 800 kilos. So if that math makes any sense, then currently this guy is 1.3 tons. Which is not that bad, to be honest. But now I'm pretty sure my math is incorrect and there's an error somewhere. Guys, I think we need to do like a little design change. I think we have a problem right now. It's way too wide, right? This area. It's way too wide. Methinks. No, for starters, we're gonna bend up that plate so easily if we bend it at a weird angle, I guess. For example, there's like a rock under it and then we try to close it. It's just gonna bend upwards. And that's actually not the main issue. I just kind of realized why I did the individual grappler design on the Bobcat. And that's because unevenness. I mean, not everything is equal, right? For example, the logs that we try to pick up, it is very rare if they are perfectly round. Maybe one end is bigger, maybe one end is smaller, maybe there's a giant nut on one end. So for example, let's just kind of imagine there's a nut on this end, but nothing on that end. This end will go against the nut, so to speak, but that end still has room to keep going. However, this end can't go any further, so that cylinder, the other side, will keep pushing and thus bending the entire grappler like that. I could make it strong enough so it wouldn't bend, I guess, but that's like absolutely unnecessary amounts of steel which would be required for that. I think the smart choice here would be to take the grappler closer to the center point, I guess. Basically something like I did there. The grappler did not continue from here, it rather just kind of migrated that way, but we need to migrate it more that way. I'm thinking maybe from here, just kind of turn it like that, and then it will come at a slight tilt. And maybe the gap needs to be only about that much. I don't think I need anything else here. And one thing that is good about having a wider grappler though is picking up brush. Now for that, this will work definitely better. But generally, I think we should do it the proper way. I think most grapplers are designed like that, especially the ones which look like this. The claw part just kind of goes inwards, right? I already did a couple of sketches here, for example, something like that. We need to make our grappler look like that, so it kind of resembles a uterus. Addition to that, we're also gonna achieve less weight, right? Because less material is required to join the two halves together. Plus we can make that plate a lot shorter. I'm like just gonna cut it off from there and also from there. So I think we should definitely do that. That's actually a good idea. Right now it's just too stupidly wide. I know. Now let's try to bend one side inwards. If we're relatively successful, then let's do the other side as well. If we can temporarily put like a hinge there. Seda ma ei saa keerata ju kuidagi. I think this doesn't work. I mean, I need to make the other end go straight. I don't think I can achieve that with this setup. Even if I turn that, it's not gonna be straight. I need to make these plates like go that way once they hit the bottom. I don't think I can achieve that without making it look really weird. I would need to like undo every weld and then try to turn it maybe like a little bit at a time. Maybe it's fine like this though. I mean, it does look kind of sexy, honestly. In a weird way, I mean. But you know, once I weld both the sides together, weld everything up, it should be sturdy enough, I think. Maybe just turn the last one, so it would face that way, and then we could add the plate as well to the thing. I don't know, that looks so weird. I mean, the further I go, the weirder it gets. This part looks actually really good. The bottom part is weird, but maybe weird in a good way. Got to do like a weird angle cut here. Sure how that's gonna work out. Tere, nii puutub mingit kuradi asja, kõik lendab õhku noh. Oh Cinderella, will the slipper fit or not? Selle lõikasid ikka valesti noh, või noh. Ma ütlen, no, sinnapool oli vaja seda kallet, sa tegid vastupidi noh. Türa, ma ei tea. Täits. Ei ole sõnu noh. teine on lõigatud õigesti, see on valesti lõigatud. Well, one thing's for sure. We can immediately toss our shoe or slipper making business plan out of the window. Yeah, this is definitely the way to go. Look at that. Looks like a little squirrel with its giant tooth. This thing is so cute. I wanna pet it. Good doggy. Ooh, look at that thing. I mean, just imagine being up there in the loader department and looking down at this. That's gonna look really nice. Yeah, I'm glad actually decided to take these guys inwards, and it should work a lot better. Plus, less material needed, right? Gonna save some weight as well. I mean, already saved like, I don't know, 10 kilos. Maybe if we keep this up, you know, weight saving mission, then this guy is just gonna float out of the workshop. That would be pretty good. But anyway, next up, need to add some type of contact piece, I guess. Something for this dude to ram or rest against. I think that's pretty okay. I mean, good. I'm kind of thinking maybe a couple of reinforcement plates coming from here, going to that. But I think we should add that later once we figure out what we need to cut off and weld everything shut. Now as for the center support, I'm not really sure if that's really necessary. To get rid of that, that's kind of getting in the way, but I can't go higher than the legs though, because well, that's pretty cool. Look at that. What is that? Molten steel? when I was grinding away that piece. Wow. It's actually pretty cool. It's like a piece of art. Oh no, it broke for no reason. But about the center part, you can't go higher than the legs because that's probably gonna get in the way of loading stuff up. However, we do have a very convenient mounting bracket over there. We could just weld something. Looks like it also matches up with the center frame. Sort of. I think I'm not gonna add anything here, guys. Perfect option would be to make like a leg, but it would be only up to this point. But then again, I don't think I'm gonna really achieve much of anything with that. It's just gonna add more stupid weight to it. And I don't think we're gonna be able to like break this part or bend it that way anyway. Seems like a pretty sturdy piece. And if I add something small here, I'm just maybe gonna bend it up anyway. Plus I don't really have a lot of room. The thing has to remain under this. I don't want it to be higher than this. So it would need to go under it somehow. Under there. It's just gonna be a huge pain to add anything there, honestly. Would have to weld upside down, you know. Now let's skip that. I don't see the point of that. It's just unnecessary weight. Rather, let's remove weight. You know, so much weight saved. We can add another grappler to the thing. But anyway, guys, now comes the fun part. I think we can finally use up these things. You know, the plumbing from the Titanic. I think they're perfect for this project right now. That's it. tea, palju seda rauda siin alles on. See on. What an embarrassment. I'm not really sure how much steel is left here. I'm pretty sure this pipe used to be like 5 millimeters, but it looks like maybe 3 is remaining. But I think it's strong enough for the purpose I need it for, to join the two things together. I'm gonna make 4 connections, so I need 4 pieces of pipe, and each one is gonna be different length, plus the 3 final ones are gonna have like a weird angle as well because of that mess. I think it's good enough, honestly. See guys, I wasn't crazy. There is something wrong with that thing. Up. Yeah. Something's going on over there. But sometimes it works. So weird. I'm gonna check that later if I can remember. With the rust about 4. Huh. I think it's fine. What is going on, man? One tool works, the other tool doesn't work. How can you explain that? That is witchcraft, bro. Wait, this is the fun part. See guys, there is still a little bit of that steel stuff remaining. So it's not in my imagination only. Video evidence right there. Video evidence right over there. Not bad. Oh man, there goes my structural integrity. think I want to add one more piece down there, but something different. Something stronger, so I could support that plate. I do have one more piece of that pipe remaining, so I could cut it out that. But actually, I'm thinking I'm gonna put that piece up there, because later once I weld these, everything shut, I want to add an extra plate there for reinforcement, and this cap seems kind of bigger than the other caps. Then I can add like an extra pipe up there as well. But down there is something perhaps over here, so we could also add a couple of pieces of plate in the center. And I do have one more piece of titanic remaining. It's not part of the plumbing system though, it's probably part of the keel or somewhere over there. Because man, this thing is really thick. I think that's like 12 millimeters pipe, and it's long enough, so whatever. And I'm really glad if I can use up rusty garbage, especially if said garbage has been sitting underground for at least 40 years. Shiny dirt over there. You okay? Oh, by the way, that was just a small taste of what's to come. Because I think that's the final piece of the puzzle right over there. And now we can weld everything shut. Well, to be honest, during the welding phases, I'm gonna add extra plates here and there. For example, I need to add a plate coming from here, connecting there. Something on the back end, then another plate over here, plus that extra pipe. But other than that, I think nothing much extra. At least I can't think of anything right now that we need to add. Should be everything. No, honestly, I'm really glad that I decided to take it inwards. You know, this looks way cooler. Plus we saved some weight as well, right? Although I'm not sure how much I'm gonna be able to cut off, you know, from the frame, because I did install these pipes in the center, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna cut anything off from here, perhaps only at the bottom to make it a bit, you know, pointy. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna draw you on a quick time lapse while I attempt to mend that nonsense together. I think it's gonna take me quite a bit of time, actually. Astu sinna peale, see kukub kokku koos sinuga. Teisele poole pead astuma. Jobu raisk. I'm guessing this is gonna take a bit of time. No, wild guess, maybe an entire day. Oh, by the way, I can't wait for the power bill, so that's gonna be quite fun. When I was doing the firewood line build, then the power bill was about 470 euros for the month. Well, to be brutally honest, and I think that's not even that bad, considering how much welding we actually did. Maybe this project is about the same, maybe a bit more. I think that's fine. That's not that bad. A lot of people actually in January had pretty crazy power bills. Like they posted online showing 1,000 euro power bills while having a wage of 1,000 euros at the same time. So your entire wage went to the power company. So that kind of makes no sense, but that's life, I guess. Not sure what she did. But yeah, let's do a quick time lapse about the welding session. I'm gonna throw some music on for you guys and also for me. So enjoy, I guess. Yep, Mr. Editor mixed up some tunes for me to listen during this entire session. Check it out, guys. Mr. Editor thinks he's a pop star now. What a moron.
Dude, shut up and stop talking to the radio and get back to work.
Motherfucker. somewhere over there, right? I think that's pretty good. Ooh la 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 la. I think ooh la 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 doesn't do any justice anymore. That's just insane. And this thing is just insane at this point. Shut up! You're distracting my view. Ah, man. One moment. Go away. What a colossal pile of scrap metal. Look at that. I mean, log grappler. I'm so glad I actually decided to go inward. This looks way cooler. And it's, you know, the plates being tilted, not a problem whatsoever. Everything's pretty much solid at this point. I think I'm not even gonna cut anything off, you know. Maybe it's just a little bit at the bottom, but nothing up there. This just looks so good. We even added a bunch of reinforcements to the bone part. And to be honest, even with one blade to weld that down, this thing was just rock solid. It didn't move anymore whatsoever. And right now it's just, it feels, I mean, it's not even touching, you know. There's like a clear gap there. And while I was mass welding away, I kind of noticed that that thing just migrated away from the base plate. So currently it's not touching anymore, and look how solid this piece is. I mean, I can't move it whatsoever. It just wobbles a bit, but that's pretty normal. I think that should be pretty solid, along with the rest of the build so far. I don't see a thing on it that can break, even if you like try it. Or if you try it really hard, then you can break anything, but if you are very careful loader operator like moi, then I don't see any options on breaking anything. Everything should be pretty solid at this point. However, it may have like a little problem. I'm not sure if you noticed during the time lapse, but I did try to open the thing up. And I think it's not gonna open up enough for me. Maybe. I'm not really sure, you know. I could only open up 1 meter before that part hit the ceiling. And at that point, you know, when the claw area was 1 meter high above the ground level, I still had 13 or 130 millimeters of rod travel distance left to go inside. So I think it was like somewhere over here, but it should go all the way to over there. So I'm not really sure how much extra height it's gonna add. Now I did some wild math and it looks like I'm gonna get okay, so for every 3 centimeters the rod travels downwards, I get about 15 or 16 centimeters of that thing going upwards. So You know, if we trust that weird math, then I should have an opening of 1.6 meters, almost 1.7 meters actually. But I don't think that's constant, you know. The math, I mean, I think the more it goes higher, then the ratios kind of change. Maybe it's a bit more, maybe it's a bit less. I'm not really sure, you know. I just have to open it all the way, then we can figure out how much this thing actually opens. But just that's not slack. But yeah, I think I would be happy if this thing opened up at least 1.5 meters, because the height from the leg down there is exactly 1.5 meters up this point. So that's the full grappler bucket load, right? 1.5 meters high. And if the claw tip opened up also 1.5 meters, then I think that's fine. That should work. I could nicely get logs, maybe even like a full scoop. And also brush would work as well. Get like a full scoop of brush. I mean, that would work, right? I would be happy with that. Although I would love if the thing went a bit higher, you know, to clear out of any stuff that it might hit. And for example, if a brush pile is higher than 1.5 meters, then I'm gonna ram into that brush pile, and well, the tip of the claw will also kind of ram into the brush pile, which sits higher. So that's kind of annoying, or maybe that's a problem. I'm just not 100% sure at this point, you know. I just need to figure out how much this thing actually opens up, and then do some testing as well. Maybe it's fine, maybe it's not. This has been an issue for a while now during this project, and I think it started off when I was installing that piece in episode 2. I just kind of didn't think this through, I guess, thoroughly. Basically, that pivoting point is a bit too far, you know. It should be closer to that point, so it could be more vertical with the cylinder bottom mount, or the cylinder could be a bit more on that side. That would work as well, I guess. So I guess I didn't really think that part through very well, and now we have that question at the moment. Does it open up enough or not? I'm currently unsure about that. I mean, that looks pretty cool, right? But currently we're about 90 centimeters off the ground, and 13.5 centimeters to go for the ram. So I'm not really sure how much that's gonna translate into that end, you know. Maybe it's gonna end up being 1.5, 1.6. Not really sure, honestly. I just have to get it out of the workshop, and then we can determine if it's enough or not. Maybe we can put something there while the thing is up. I shouldn't probably go here though. Might be a bit sketchy that. Maybe like an extra steel plate. I mean, this guy migrated away from that plate quite significantly during the welding process. And I'm not sure if it's like important even, honestly. Right now, once the thing goes all the way down, it's just gonna rest on the cylinder. But I think it would be better if it rested against that plate, you know. That would work, maybe. Seems like those Kirovets tools. Oh man, those are my last steel. I'm running out of everything with this project. I'd rather bend this guy a bit more straight. Look at that. Guys, this little homemade press has been very useful, especially during this project, honestly. I think I built that thing like back in 2017, if I can remember correctly. Somewhere there. Very old by now. Still works. I'm gonna put you guys a bit further away, so at least you're safe. Stop making funny noises, man. Sure. If we hear a click, then it's pretty good. We got a click. Excellent. I think that's better. And for that part to rest against that part when it's fully closed, I guess. Rather than being fully on the cylinders. But anyway guys, about the grappler itself, I have changed my mission goals as of right now. Because of that situation, I have decided that I am not going to currently paint the thing. And I'm not currently gonna haul it out of the workshop, but I am going to finish the thing. So we'll deal with the hydraulics. We'll sort that business out and also the quick attach. But after that, I'm gonna leave it inside the workshop for now until I can figure out the situation on the Volvo's end. Now, as most of you already know, currently the Volvo loader doesn't run. The last time I tried to fire it up, it started up, but then it just kind of died. I'm not getting any fuel from the fuel tank at the moment, and I have not even checked what the issue might be. So that just kind of happened before the winter, and then I didn't need the guy during the winter, so it's been kind of sitting there for a while. So I need to figure that situation out before we pull the grappler out of the workshop, you know. Because as of right now, I think that's the only good candidate that I have in order to get it out of the workshop. I just need to drag it on the concrete, and from here it would be best if I could just immediately hook it up to the Volvo and then take off, right? My current other option is to use Joseph, because I'm pretty sure none of my other machines would be able to move that guy. And Bobcat definitely can move it. Yanmar might be able to drag it, but I don't think it's going to be able to drag it up the grade, maybe only on the flat surface. So the Volvo seems like the best option as of right now. Well, we do have Joseph as well, but that guy can't really lift the thing. It needs to drag it behind it. And that's just gonna mess up everything here, right? We're just gonna have like a bunch of meteorite impact craters all over the place. So we don't need that business here. I'm gonna keep the guy inside the workshop until we can figure out the Volvo situation, and then pull it out of the workshop, test it that way, by immediately putting it on the Volvo itself. And the reason I don't want to paint the thing right now is because A, I need to wash it. It's kind of very grooty down there. B, I still need to do a bunch of welding on the bottom end. You know, the stuff that I can't access right now. And 3, maybe I need to do some redesigning if the grappler doesn't open wide enough. Luckily, I do have a plan for that. So let's imagine we pull it out of the workshop, put it on the Volvo, and discover grappler doesn't open enough. It's just kind of crap. Then the current idea is, well, I chose the least amount of work idea, basically. It's not perfect, but it should improve the situation. So instead of having the pivoting point there, we just kind of ignore that part and make a new pivoting point further that way, towards the pin. So I'm guessing like somewhere over here, while not moving that guy. And also, I need to make the hole while this guy is sitting as it is right now, because I don't want to alter the closing position. This needs to stay like it is right now. I would need to leave that guy there, weld a bunch of steel here, and then make a new hole for the new pivoting point. Then swap the pins out, and then that's not gonna alter the closing department, right? That should stay the same, although the opening department should significantly improve meetings. I mean, that seems like the least amount of work that I need to do, right? I don't need to alter that, I don't need to alter that. I just need to move this guy, or rather make a new hole there. And then I have a new pivoting point, which is gonna improve the opening. There are a couple of negative side effects to this though. And for starters, the cylinder won't be able to go all the way in anymore. Unless I also take this pivoting point higher. But if I take it higher, then that's gonna alter the closing position, and I don't want to do that. So my only option is to just kind of go as straight as possible. That way, leave it there. So the cylinder won't be able to go fully all the way in, but maybe that's not really a problem. Another thing that might be an issue, but I'm not really sure if it is once it's fully open, you know, maybe the cylinder wants to go the other way, like it did when we did a bunch of testing previously, right? At some point the cylinder just kind of wanted to go the other way. However, I think that's not going to happen, because considering the weight of the grappler itself, it's kind of pulling the entire system that way. So I think that should prevent the cylinder from migrating to the other side, right? I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think that should save us from that situation, the weight of the grappler itself. Maybe you guys care to speculate on that. I'm not really 100% sure, but I think we're safe in that department. I guess there's actually one more negative effect. While we move the pivoting point closer to the cylinder eye, then the cylinder has to work a lot harder, right? In order to pull the entire thing up. And it's gonna put more pressure on the plates themselves as well. But maybe that's not an issue. I guess this cylinder is pretty beefy. I mean, the rod itself is 70 millimeters. However, the bore, I think it was like 130 millimeters. So I think it's gonna be powerful enough to lift the thing up, but without any wild math, you can't really confirm that. I don't even know how would one calculate the requirement of the cylinder if the pivoting point was closer to the cylinder. No idea, bro. But you know, this is one of those solutions. If it doesn't work, we can always revert back, right? We're not gonna lose that eye, we're just gonna make like a new eye. And then we can choose which one we want to use. So I think there's really nothing to lose with that solution, but I'm not gonna do it before I take this thing out of the workshop and figure out if I even need to do that. Because like I said, if I get 1.5 meters of opening, then I don't even need to do that. I think that's fine. Obviously we have to do some testing as well, but I think that's fine. Guess time will tell. But no, right now let's just kind of continue. I want to at least finish off the grappler before we wrap up this video. So 2 more things to do. We need to alter the quick attach and then need to sort out the hydraulics, because we don't need that center cylinder. And maybe we can lose some hoses as well in the meantime and then make things look a bit better, I guess. Kind of a messy situation right now. Plus there's something leaking on it. Something's going somewhere. Definitely not over there, because that's just going downwards. The cap needs to be exactly 1 meter. That's easy to remember. I think we should go try to take those pieces off, figure out if they even fit here, and then try to figure out the next step. Thickness wise, this is 30 millimeters. I'm not sure if that's enough. Maybe it needs to be more. Let's go check what's on the pocket. This seems 40, I think. Yeah, this is 40. Shit. Maybe we need to order 40 millimeter blade. No, that's 50. Too much, Joseph. Maybe we can oxy-torch through that. Back plate is 25 millimeters. Slow and steady, I guess. Went through that pretty good. Bunch of magma down there, look at that. Actually, maybe we can just kind of cut along the bolt line and then get it off like that. Then we will need to remove the other part. It's kind of welded all over the place on the back end, even inside corners. I think if I keep going with the oxy-torch, then I'm gonna cut the entire thing in half. We should have one of those whatchamacallits, weld catching devices. You know, the ones which you use to remove weld bit. Estonia does have them now, but they cost more than I've spent on this entire project so far. The new stuff in Estonia are very expensive. Gold level expensive. Now I'm gonna drive with the gun-off disc. If we're successful, then I need to go buy more gun-off discs because this is my last one as well. At least the access is good, right? I do kind of wonder, will that blank catch on fire or not? It hasn't even started smoking so far. If you guys remember, I did coat the lumber inside the workshop with some special fire retardant type of liquid, which is supposed to prevent the wood from catching on fire. I mean, so far nothing has catched on fire inside the workshop. That's wood. I coated everything with that stuff. It was a very expensive liquid, but I think it was worth it. Right now it's getting a lot of sparks to this spot, so I'm kind of curious. I hope this thing is not fully welded on there. Oh, look at that. Guess not. Need to get rid of that part, that's kind of getting in the way. Plus, I think we need to add some additional mating surface. Maybe I could order some weldable mounts. Not sure how much that will cost. I'm sure they're available somewhere. Okay, so technically I do have some material to make this work, I think. Not best material though. The thickest plate I have is 20 millimeters. So I would need to glue like two of them together from the center and then make the hole for the bottom part and then weld it to this part. Also, this needs to be modified. We need to cut that hook off, it's too long. Install thick wall pipe inside here, but only halfway. So we could kind of sit somewhere over there, but maybe that's even not enough room for that. Not sure. I would need something like this. This is considerably thicker than the other guy. And also, I'm assuming I need some type of plate there as well. This pipe is slightly under 60, but then again the thing on the loader is also worn down, so maybe this is gonna fit perfectly.
Well, that's actually a pretty good fit. It's kind of riding, but overall, I think it's just gonna wear itself in, I think we can make it out of this piece.
I think we can make this work without buying anything. And I found my secret compartment of grinding discs. Look at that. I can't wait until I can find my secret compartment for donuts.
Huh. That sits pretty good now. Look at that. Yeah. Meeting has ended. Let's get to work.
Smells like success. Or maybe that's just the toxic fumes keeping me high. Man, such a nasty gut, look at that. So messy. Anyway, I think that's the thing. Hopefully nothing will get in the way. Maybe this area needs to be modified slightly, but I'm also thinking maybe some reinforcements later on if we confirm that everything's cool. Also, we need to figure out where the hole needs to be. But I think we need to first weld everything shut. But first, let's go check it out if it sits or not. I think the frame is kind of positioned awkwardly right now. It would be great if this guy was vertical. Maybe I can lift it up a bit. Oh man, look at that piece of crap rust over there. I bought this last year, man. Why do you look so bad? Wow. Looks like we got the front end off the ground. I'm gonna remove a little bit over there. Something like that, maybe. This should work, I think. Oh yeah, I think this will work pretty good. Actually, it should be a bit longer, to be honest. It should have made it maybe like 5 centimeters longer, but I think this will also work. I think it's fine. Now before we make the hole though, we should probably weld this guy up. And maybe if we make the hole first and then weld everything up, that hole is gonna, I don't know, migrate to the North Pole or something. Oh, by the way, look at the nice weather. So beautiful. So let's go back to the cave. You guys want to see the magnetic stand? Look at that mess.
Dude, this thing is amazing for cleaning the shop floor. Oh my lord.
Very good.
Is this thing on now?
Man, freaking hell! I've been talking to myself for like half an hour. Camera wasn't even recording. You know, that happens way too much. Way too often. Luckily I still have a little bit of volume left to go. So you guys can enjoy the mosquito sounds. Good then.
I think we can do more, although I don't think it's necessary. Honestly, I don't see this thing breaking apart the way we're planning to apply forces to it. But you know, we do have a little bit more room there, so maybe run a couple of more beats. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Let's do at least 2 more beats, side by side. Then we should be able to fill the gap nicely. Now later I'm also thinking maybe I extra plate on top, but I'm not really sure if that's necessary. We gotta do what we gotta do, right? I mean, the end goal is obvious. We need to make this part way more than the grappler over there. Okay. If it wasn't gonna break before, then it's definitely not gonna break now. Stupid beard. I hate that thing. Actually, a really good way to transport that thing. Kind of getting heavy now. Plus a bit hot. Definitely have to get this part right. Liiga palju isegi too.
Okay, so this is probably gonna take a bit of time, as is always, but luckily I get to listen to a bunch of Taylor songs while I try to drill through this part. But you guys, what happened there? You guys get to listen to a bunch of weird drill noises. That definitely took longer than 13 seconds. Ooh, 36 minutes. Ooh, look at that bit. Wow. This is how adults play Legos, by the way.
Natukene tahaks veel saada. Oh man, that's perfect.
You know, all things considered, I think that's actually really good. Unless the hole doesn't match up, then I'm pretty much screwed.
Is that okay? Oh man, that actually lines up pretty good. It's actually perfect. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the pin should come through that nicely.
Although, and the little extra plate that we had on the bucket, I think I need to install that after getting the pin inside the hole. Then I know where the plate exactly needs to be. So I can't install that right now, I think. But I think this part should do the trick. Boiling water agrees. I'm just glad I didn't need to buy anything extra for this.
Yeah, looks like it fits the other side perfectly as well.
But I think I need to add some reinforcements to this lip area. May bend that. I think I'm gonna try to build it up with welds. It's not a lot of area, should be pretty fast. That should be really okay, I think. Guess we'll see how that will hold up. But I think that's about it for this part right now. I was thinking maybe add some extra blade pieces like we did on the bone bar, just kind of weld them on that, but I think it's not necessary. I don't see myself breaking that. I mean, if we try to lift like excessive amounts, then maybe like this part is just gonna break off. But separating the two plates, I don't see that happening. No way. Maybe later. Now I was thinking maybe later, once we put the thing on the frame, then maybe then I'm gonna add a couple of extra plates here, because I definitely want to weld that. So if I add like a piece of plate on top, then I can't properly weld the bottom plate, right? It's just gonna be welded on the top plate. So maybe let's try to weld this thing to the frame first, and then figure out if we can add any extra material there. Right now, let's go with that. I just need to do one more. Oh, the agony. I mean, why can't we just take copy, paste? That would be the easiest option. But no, gotta do a bunch of work. Me. By the way, I've already given it some thought. I'm gonna make the connection. We'll wait some. Basically, I'm really glad I did not cut that plate off. I'm actually gonna need that. Shut up! But anyway, basically I'm really glad I did not cut that piece off because I'm gonna need that. So I'm gonna need to weld that cap shut again. I'm just gonna take another piece like that, put it there, and then add another plate on top, which will tie the two pieces together. I also need to connect that part to the party as well, so it's gonna be holding on from the 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And I think that should be pretty good. So I need to cut that off the same way. Sadly, I don't have any cutting this remaining at the moment, but you know, a while ago you have a lot of those. Sadly, these are meant for aluminium, I think. Yeah, aluminium. So I'm not sure if it's gonna even cut steel, but I do have a lot of them, and I don't have any aluminium to work with, so I figured I'm gonna try whatever. If it doesn't work, I might as well just throw these away. I think it's gonna cut steel, but it's probably gonna very fast. Okay, well, that disappears pretty fast, especially the vinyl fits. However, I can still use them upright. I've had these guys for a really long time now. Usually I think they're even expired, but there's like no date on them. There should be like an expiry date on them as well. Like 2004 on them. What the dude, that is really old. 2004 seems really old. Like over 20 years old. Holy hell. 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like 20 discs, actually. Plus we got some smaller versions. These are 2005. But no, basically, yeah, I've had these since forever. They're expired through the roof, but it seems like we can use them up. And then we don't need to throw them away, but we have to be careful because they are so expired, they might just explode. Truth be told, I thought they're not even gonna cut steel. Guess that's not the case. They will still cut. They just wear away a lot faster. Well, that was definitely faster than going to the supermarket and buying a bunch of craft discs, right? But yeah, it took me 2 full discs to make that cut happen compared to half a disc on the other one. So these things definitely wear down a lot faster. But still, I can use this up. At least they're not gonna stay on the wall there forever. And I'm not gonna buy any discs before I get rid of those. So I'm gonna focus on getting rid of these before getting any new discs. Because we're doing that now. Anyway, guys, give me a couple of seconds. This should go pretty fast. Me. But this seems like a never-ending welding mission. This entire project. Oh, never mind, it ended. You know, gotta give respect to the old saying. Whatever has a beginning has an end. Yeah. As it turns out, Smith was pretty much right about everything. Except the final part where he was deleted. But guys, check out my freaking welding table. This is not normal anymore. I mean, look at that. Oh my. Don't even get me started on the floor. This stupid ass project is gonna kill me. But before we fall over and expire, we gotta finish this mess. Okay. That stupid mistake is fixed. So the old cap was 80 exactly. The new cap has to be 100. So this is easy math, right? 10 centimeters on both sides. Be I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess it up still though. I'm probably gonna end up welding that thing somehow over there. I think I should also put like a spacer blade, something there. I mean the Volvo pushing on the grappler with its full might actually, you know, deform this plate kind of inwards. I'm thinking maybe something to just kind of bridge the gap, I guess. Maybe I should have installed a wider plate, something like that. It looks to me like that plate is not even thin, like a dot. It seems like 8. Hopefully that's not a problem. Jälle viska minema see jama. Don't you just love it when the stick gets stuck and then when you try to wiggle it off, you just destroy half the coating? It feels like it happens so often. It's so annoying. can't see that. Where is this from? No idea. Hopefully I have one more. Oh yeah. That's still hot. Okay, I think that should hold. But the truth be told, it ended up being kind of a messy mount. There you go, now it's fixed. Looks a bit better. But anyway, guys. What was that? Sounded like someone drew up. Give me a couple of seconds, I'm gonna quickly do the other side as well. Phew. Stupid chemical reaction. Who invited you to the party? Stop sticking, you stupid stick! Oh, nii et sa vahi seda otsa nüüd noh. Mida sa põled, see rott noh? Pilgud võtta. Welding this side up is much more exciting. Control the flame. Don't overcook it. Welders are so lucky. They don't even know. They don't even need to break for a lunch break, right? They eat as they work. Dinner is served, guys. Whoops. I dropped my sausage. The truth be told, I don't think it's quite ready yet. Man. Look at that, guys. Medium rare. Dude, I should stop making YouTube videos and start making hot dogs. Guys, just try to remember, if that hose is broken for no reason, then well, it was already broken before we melted the hole through it. If you recall, I told you there was a leak somewhere here, so I just assume it was already broken. Just keep that in mind if we need to deal with this situation in the future. We need to put that somewhere else later. Kogu aeg otsin mõõdulihte taga, täitsa ajuvaba raisk. 100 mõõdulihti ja ma ei tea, nad on igal pool laiali, aga ma ei näe mitte ühtegi. I mean, we're almost there. Keep your pants on. Mean. Where's that part now? I'm pretty sure I had to. Maybe I put it somewhere else.
I guess it was in high demand.
Oh man, these discs are wearing away faster than I can count to 10. Don't worry guys, I got about 13 left. So far I haven't been hit in the face. But I am wearing a face mask now, just in case. And the interesting part is that the first 20 or 30 millimeters wears away very slowly, but once you reach somewhere over there, then I think the disc is flying away faster than the steel, literally. So that's kind of interesting. Not sure what's that. One more of these.
Nothing gets wasted, guys. Except if you decide to get drunk or die in GTA, then you're wasted.
Oh my. That part was extremely annoying. Hopefully not for you guys though.
Okay guys, so here's the situation. I'm not gonna fully weld this shut because I can't guarantee if they're on the right spot or not. So I'm gonna do like let's call it a technical weld. So it shouldn't break when we pick the grappler up with the Volvo, but we just need to like confirm if it's good. Maybe we need to adjust these guys left and right. Right now the numbers are telling me that we're good. Exactly 100 from center to center, so that's the Volvo thing. And then the bottom thing also needs to be 100. It's kind of hard to catch the, so let's just kind of add 15 millimeters there. So it is 101.3 minus 15, so it's almost 100. It's basically on the spot there. No, but still, I'm pretty sure something's messed up and it's not gonna pick it up properly. But if it will, then I can finally weld it shut. Perhaps add some reinforcements as well. And I also need to make that stop thing, you know, at the bottom where the Volvo's loader frame bar will hit this part. So it's just like we had on the bucket. So the bottom pin actually doesn't need to, it's not designed to take the load, you know. That's just for securing the attachment. That's not a load thing. It needs to have some extra plate down there for that. But you know, as of right now, I have even no idea where to install that. So we need to mount this guy on the guy, and then we can do the next step. So give me a couple of seconds. I'm gonna do that technical weld. What do you think, guys? Will that hold? 6 little seams on both sides.
We just need to pick it up, see if it matches or not. We're not gonna immediately start ramming into concrete walls. Maybe. But that takes care of that part. My only words are something on the lines of Dayu. What a mount. But I think this part actually came out pretty good. Yeah, it looks like poop, but there's a lot of poop welded together there, so maybe it will hold. I think it should be pretty solid. Pushing, pulling forces included. Things shouldn't fold in anywhere. What the hydraulics though? Let's get rid of that cylinder, and then I think we can also remove one set of hoses. Should have removed the thing before even starting the build. There's some idiot welded points of steel in the way now. It's kind of hard. Shouldn't be that hard. Maybe I'm not the only one who decided to convert NPT to a PSP. It wouldn't be the first one, right? So that one went there. It needs to go where now? Up there. I think these won't match up. Look at that, I think that's gonna go there nicely. You know, hydraulic guys are loving me right now. But I think this actually doesn't match up. Or maybe there's not enough clearance for the nut to turn because that thing is against the frame. I think there's actually something wrong with the threads. They immediately get stuck. And it did come off unusually hard. So maybe the threads were smacked. It just kind of pops out of that hole. Looks like it's going now. Had to force it a bit. There's something wrong with the threads, yeah, but whatever. At least we got it in there. This type of hose seals by tightening the nut. Nothing much else. So that hose went
there, which went there, and this hose needs to go there, but I don't know, this seems a bit short. Also, it's kind of facing the wrong way. Yeah, very good. Looks like we got a bit lucky on the hydraulic side. Didn't really need to weld anything together. Kinda rare. Truth be told though, I think I'm still gonna need to take... I need to take all the hydraulic hoses off the thing before painting anyway. It's not really that important right now what the situation looks like. Right? It would be great if I could turn that guy a bit higher though. Really old steel lines down there. And the other side, one was replaced at some point, replaced with a rubber hose. I'm guessing it's just kind of rusted through. And technically I'm not a fan of steel lines, but guys, they do last longer than the rubber things. But that's why they installed them in the factory. Because by the time they finally rust through, you have probably went through like 10 rubber hoses. Am I right? siin on kolmas ka kuskil hoiab, mine persena, see kolmas on täpselt seal keskel. Oh! Look at that mess. Look at that mess, guys. Kind of hard to access. Man. Or maybe not. That should work, no problem. I think. And that should also get out of the way nicely. There's definitely something going on with that thread. Shouldn't be this hard. Oh, look at that, guys. Let's go build another log splitter. Oh man, this is hard. But dude, I think that's it. Oh wait, one more thing. Actually do. Moses. Too keerab sinna minema omadega vist võtta. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm not gonna add this thing back. They're kind of short anyway, right? So only one more thing remaining. It's kind of important. We need to name the guy. The name's kind of obvious. I think I also hinted it at some point. I can't recall what episode that was from. This thing just has taken forever to build, but more on that later.
Fuel crap. No guys, that's not the name. I'm kinda confused if the grappler is with 2 or 1B. Grappler police bumper. I think it's with 2 then. Yeah. One moment. And with that, the stupid mission has ended. Drop the mic moment. Well, to be honest, not really. Still got a buttload of work to do. But I would say like majority of the stuff is finished now. And dude, it's been one hell of a journey. And honestly, I can't even believe we have got this far, you know. And considering how we started off this project by having that little center part on the floor and trying to figure out what to do next, man. And now we're here. Look at this guy, dude. Holy shit. This is by far the biggest project I've ever done. And most likely ever will do, because dude. We started that thing 18 of February. I started that thing. And right now it's 6 of March. So that's 10 plus 16 days. Yeah, 16 days exactly. So a little bit over 2 weeks to build that thing. And I think I did it non-stop. Well, actually I didn't do it non-stop. There was some movie nights and concert nights, you know, that sort of business. So I'm guessing maybe like 13 days then, 2 weeks, something like that. Dude, 2 weeks to build something like this. That's actually pretty impressive. I'm kind of impressed with myself right now. Although maybe it doesn't even work. Oh, that would be kind of a bummer. You know, maybe the grappler doesn't open enough, but you know, we can mend that, I think. But yeah, truth be told, I just yesterday started reviewing the first episode of this build, and I was like, man, I don't want to do anything like that ever again. It's just so much work, you know. And eventually you're just gonna get sick of welding. It's like, this was like non-stop welding, bro. Like, even our power bill for the last month was almost 600 euros, and I'm guessing it's mostly because of that thing. Now, usually our power bill is around 300 euros, maybe 400 euros during the winter seasons, but like 600 euros almost. But you know, that's not really a problem because Super Sister pays for 50%. Now, luckily she's extremely rich and doesn't notice those bills at all. But yeah, actually right after this project I was planning to build another massive welding project. But as of right now, I'm gonna abandon that. If you guys are curious what that was about, I was planning to build my own concrete mixer. But because of this, because how much time, effort and work this thing actually took, I'm kind of abandoning that project right now. I'm kind of sick of welding. I don't want to do any welding for at least a couple of weeks, minimal. So we're gonna do that project some other time in the future, not right now. Like you guys saw, it's kind of getting very nice outside, so starting tomorrow, I'm gonna be mostly outside and gonna stay away from the workshop for a while. Now, as for this dude though, it's probably gonna stay inside the workshop as well for a while. I did call up my dude who's gonna supply me the parts for the Volvo. So once I get those parts, I'm gonna go work on the Volvo and try to get that thing running. You know, once we achieve that, then we're gonna try to pull this guy out of the workshop, mount it on the Volvo, you know, figure out if the quick attach setup works, and then we can also weld that shot completely, maybe reinforce it up, and whatever else is needed. Oh yeah, I need to figure out the hydraulics as well, because you know, these connections won't fit the Volvo. That guy has like 5 times bigger hoses and connections and stuff. So maybe we need to rethink the hydraulic connections as well. Or maybe we can get like a coupler that is small on one end and gigantic on the other end. Maybe that will work as well. You know, apparently this guy doesn't really require a lot of flow because, you know, my little test bed over here actually seems to power it pretty fast. Maybe the hoses are fine, you just need like proper connections for the thing. But you know, if you do figure that mess out, then we also need to test it, right? And now if the grappler opens up 1.5 meters, like I explained, whatever, let's go try to pick something up. Probably that brush pile. I actually want to build it higher. Right now it's kind of sitting low. I want to build it higher so I have more room to put new stuff in it. But if it doesn't work, then we need to rethink something. If you guys have some suggestions as well how to rethink the pivoting situation without any major reworks, then comment down below, I guess. But right now I think the best option probably is to just kind of migrate that hole somewhere over there, which is going to open up the glass a lot more without changing the bottom position. Right? I know. But no, all in all, I guess I'm really happy how this thing has turned out. You know, whenever I was working at my plywood factory place and these grapplers were running around the lot every day, I always like imagine that, dude, I'm gonna build that one day. That's gonna be a thing and I'm gonna make it happen. And now here we are. That's the thing. Now it's one to think about, to dream about something, but it's entirely something else to actually make the thing happen, right? I personally think that having this type of lock grappler on a front end loader is like the coolest attachment you can have. Maybe not as useful. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more useful attachments, but how it makes the loader look, you know, it's just kind of looks, well, sexy, right? It makes the loader look super sexy, in my opinion. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm kind of weird that way. So I can't really wait until we can finally mount this guy on the Volvo and see if the Volvo will break in half or not. I don't really have like a date for you guys when I'm gonna do that. I guess we just have to go figure out the Volvo end first and then take it from there. But obviously this guy can't stay inside the workshop forever, right? So we need to get it out of here eventually. And with that, I think I'm gonna wrap this mess up now. I mean, the video got kind of long, I guess, but I'm glad I'm also ending it at the moment because I also plan to like paint the thing and drag it out. That is just makes it too long, right? So I hope this is fine. I mean, looks pretty fine. Looks fine ass over there. Also a pretty cute squirrel face over there. Oh, by the way, if you're curious how much welding rods I actually wasted on this entire project, then about 10 kilos of that stuff and one entire roll of 5 kilogram welding wire. Also almost 2 bottles of gas. Before we wrap up the mess, I guess we can do like a bit of math. How much this thing actually cost me to build out of pocket. So there was the initial cost of 500 euros for the thing. I'm guessing like 300 bucks on power all in all. 900 euros on the steel order, but I still have quite a bit left, honestly. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those plates. I had 10. I had I think 3 of those, so maybe over half of it. I don't know, let's say like 600 bucks on steel. And then we had welding, stuff. 1, 2, 3 boxes. 70 bucks on the rods. What happened now? 28. What happened? Dude, mine grinding discs. Are we even gonna include those? Probably not. Oh, we did buy that useless Makita tool, which broke immediately. So maybe we could add that to the mix as well. Maybe not. Let's just kind of go with that number. So out of pocket, 1.6 grand. Well, to be honest, if you compare it to the 9 grand thing, then that's a complete win, right? I mean, this thing probably is even bigger than that thing, but it most likely is not built as good. But still, 1.6 seems kind of a lot. I mean, maybe you can find like a used grappler of a farmer or something like that for something cheaper, maybe like a grand. But then again, finding something like this, probably not gonna happen. Maybe 1 or 2 will come on sale per year, even if that. So with 1.6 grand, I think it's kind of okay, but it's kind of high also. I mean, if I wanted to sell it for whatever reason, I don't think I'm gonna get 1.6 grand for it. Maybe like 1.5 grand. I'm not really sure how much this thing would cost, honestly. But luckily, I'm not gonna sell it. I don't sell anything I make or buy. I just, die, and then someone else can deal with the mess. It's not my problem. But I'm gonna go now, and maybe also clean up the workshop, because I'm kinda curious how much chow I'm gonna get from the floor. To be honest, I was expecting more. Well, probably there was a lot more, but most likely I just inhaled the rest. Oh, by the way, guys, wanna know something funny? Well, maybe it's not funny, it's more like sad. So yesterday I told you I don't want to do any welding projects for at least a couple of weeks. And then this neighbor, well, it's not like directly my neighbor, he's my neighbor's neighbor friend. So that confusing line of neighbors dude called me up and said that his log splitting unit or firewood processor needs some repairs, needs a bit of welding. Now all I could imagine was like, great timing, bro, I just finished something huge and I don't want to do anything involved with welding, yet you now need me to weld some stuff together. Well, obviously I said yes, because I'm a good neighbor's neighbor friend. So he's probably gonna show up with his equipment tomorrow, and we're gonna try to figure that mess out. But right now I'm gonna go outside, because look at this crap. Dude, there's one more little bin inside the workshop. Pack it up. What is that now? And spring. So much action going on. That's why we need to stay outside, right? Action is over there. Toodaloo. Or something of the lines.